Sick of slimy steaks and mystery meat? Which grocery stores are killing it and which are failing in 2025's meat aisle? Are you tired of overpaying for ribeyes that taste like shoe leather? Fed up with mystery origin chicken or steaks wrapped in slime? It's time to call out the winners and losers of the grocery meat world. Which supermarkets serve up prime cuts with pride and which are selling you overpriced garbage? Buckle up. We're ranking the 10 best and 10 worst U.S. grocery stores for meat in 2025 with no holds barred. We've sliced through industry reports and chewed over customer reviews to bring you an aggressive, no-nonsense rundown of who to trust for your T-bones and who to avoid like week-old ground beef. The 10 best grocery stores for meat in 2025. These 10 grocery chains have risen to the top of the food chain when it comes to meat quality, pricing, ethical sourcing, and customer service. From in-house butchers who actually know what they're doing to sustainable sourcing and juicy customer praise, these stores are bringing home the bacon and beef and poultry in style. 10. Sam's Club, bulk meat, custom cuts, killer value. Don't sleep on Sam's Club. This warehouse club is outshining its big box rival when it comes to meat quality and service. Unlike Walmart, which we'll roast later, Sam's actually has trained staff at the meat counter. A TikTok video showed a Sam's butcher slicing an entire pork loin into perfect chops on request. Try getting that done at a Walmart. Customers rave that Sam's offers half the price of my local shop and about the same quality. From well-marbled USDA prime ribeyes to surprisingly great pork belly and brisket, Sam's Club proves that buying in bulk doesn't mean skimping on quality. They've even pledged to source all chicken antibiotic-free by 2025, showing an eye on ethics. For carnivores on a budget, Sam's is a secret gem. You walk in for a pallet of paper towels and walk out with steaks cut exactly how you like them. Value, service, and quality. Consider it meat heaven in a 10-pound pack. 9. Kroger, dependable deals and butchers who know their stuff. Kroger is America's grocery giant, and it earns a spot among the best for its solid meat department. Shoppers report scoring unbelievable deals here. We're talking whole ribeye roasts big enough for 8 steaks at under $30, all turning out delicious. Kroger's army of butchers are the real deal, breaking down whole sides of beef in-house. As one self-proclaimed Kroger butcher explained, they receive large primal cuts and cut it accordingly. Roasts, steaks, ground beef, right in store. That means you can ask them for custom cuts or advice, and they have the skills to deliver. Kroger also pushes into the higher quality arena with their Simple Truth line of organic grass-fed beef that's raised with no hormones or antibiotics. They've even sourced organic beef from a ranch in Uruguay to keep quality high. Now, transparency isn't perfect. Kroger still sells some conventional pork from farms using less than humane practices, gestation crates, though they've pledged to end that by 2025. But between the wonderful ribeyes, frequent managers' special markdowns, and reliable selection, Kroger is a go-to for meat lovers on a budget. It's not a boutique butcher, but for everyday shoppers, it delivers the goods. 8. Aldi, shockingly good meat at rock-bottom prices. Cheap meat. That's actually good? Aldi pulls it off. This discount chain beats expectations and often leaves rivals in the dust on both price and taste. Aldi's meat section is no frills, but filled with quality. Zero additive, USDA choice Black Angus beef, and even some grass-fed options, all at jaw-droppingly low prices. Don't just take it from us. One meat-loving customer raves Aldi is always the best. They're also almost always the cheapest. I could eat their ribeyes and grass-fed ground beef for the rest of my life and be happy. The chain focuses on locally sourced meats from regional farms where possible, and vacuum-sealed packaging keeps cuts fresh longer. Sure, Aldi keeps costs down with practices like BYO shopping bags and a no-frills store design, but they don't cut corners on meat quality. You won't find an in-house butcher for custom orders here, and selection is straightforward. Don't expect 10 kinds of tripe or specialty game meats. Yet for everyday chicken, beef, and pork, including antibiotic-free and organic selections, Aldi is a budget carnivore's dream. Ethical sourcing is improving too, as Aldi has made strides on animal welfare policies in recent years. When a Redditor says, "Meat is the best thing to buy at my Aldi, half the price of other places," you know this grocer is doing something right. Bottom line, Aldi lets you save money without swallowing tough, tasteless meat. 7. The fresh market. Old school butchers, premium quality, worth the splurge. If you're looking for an upscale experience with a neighborhood butcher vibe, the fresh market delivers. Concentrated in the eastern U.S., this chain has a dominating meat department that outshines many larger supermarkets. The fresh market boasts on-site butchers who hand-cut beautifully marbled USDA choice beef, trim your orders to spec, and prepare specialty items like dry-aged steaks and even American Wagyu. They emphasize quality over quantity. You'll find antibiotic-free poultry, all-natural pork, and even gourmet marinated cuts ready to cook. Shoppers absolutely adore the offerings. Social media is flooded with proud carnivores showing off fresh market porterhouses and tenderloins. One loyal customer on TikTok gushed, "I love it here. I love their meat. Their meat is so fresh and good." Regulars also know to watch for deals. A former employee let slip that Tuesdays often bring especially great sales on chicken and beef. Insider tip. While the prices can run higher than your standard grocery, fans swear it's worth it for the melt-in-your-mouth quality and the personalized service. With a mix of everyday cuts and high-end selections, the fresh market manages to cater to both the weeknight dinner crowd and the gourmet steak aficionado. They might not have the nationwide reach of some competitors, but in the regions they serve, Fresh Market has earned its reputation as a cut above the rest. 6. H-E-B. Texas-sized quality and skill. Local beef and certified butchers. Everything is bigger in Texas, including the reputation of H-E-B's meat department. This regional powerhouse, with a cult-like following in Texas, proves you don't have to be national to be best in class. H-E-B's approach is old school in the best way. They still employ highly trained butchers in every store, and those folks know their craft. In fact, every meat cutter at H-E-B must pass a rigorous certification test and 2-year training, ensuring they can handle any request from discerning shoppers. Need a special cut or not sure how to cook that brisket? H-E-B's staff will walk you through it. They pride themselves on being able to guide customers through the butcher shop, effectively bringing the local butcher experience into a supermarket setting. The quality is top-notch too. H-E-B is famously dedicated to local ranchers. Roughly 80% of their private label beef is Texas-raised, and they insist on sourcing from the very best producers. According to H-E-B's own meat procurement director, they closely monitor animal welfare and quality and still cut fresh meat in every one of our stores. 1,800 highly skilled meat cutters ready to custom cut whatever our customers want. All that translates into superb freshness and flavor. Customers notice that even the everyday offerings, ground beef, chuck roast chicken, are a cut above rivals. H-E-B also offers Texas BBQ favorites, from mesquite-smoked briskets to specialty sausages, catering to local tastes. While one or two internet anecdotes have griped about an occasional off-product, the overwhelming consensus is that H-E-B gives you premium store-quality meat without the premium price. It's no wonder H-E-B keeps ranking as a top U.S. grocer overall. They absolutely dominate the meat game on their home turf. 5. Publix. High quality meets Southern hospitality. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. It's not just a slogan, especially if you're eyeing their meat department. This beloved Southeastern chain wins loyalty through quality, service, and surprising affordability. Publix proudly touts having some of the highest quality food on the market, and that holds true in its meat selection. Their stores are known for well-marbled beef, fresh poultry, and even hard-to-find cuts, all handled with care. Publix goes the extra mile with in-house butcher teams who are super accommodating. See a steak that's a bit too thick? They'll trim or butterfly it for you. Need a special roast cut to size or family packs reportioned? Publix's butchers will repack or custom cut on request with a smile. Customers absolutely swear by Publix for consistently good meat, from everyday ground beef that cooks up flavorful to antibiotic-free chicken and organic options clearly labeled for the health-conscious. Publix also isn't shy about sourcing ethically. They've expanded their Green Wise line, which includes humanely raised and organic meats. And while Publix isn't the cheapest store around, shoppers often report that their meat prices beat out higher-end competitors for comparable quality. As one local might tell you, Publix hits that sweet spot. You get near gourmet quality product, but in a friendly neighborhood supermarket setting. Yes, they'll carry your groceries out for you. With its clean stores, courteous staff, and dedication to quality, Publix makes buying meat feel like a pleasure, not a gamble. The only complaint you'll have is that they aren't in more states. Fourth, Wegmans, traceable sourcing and top-tier variety, Northeast pride. Wegmans isn't just a grocery store. It's practically a religion in the Northeast. When it comes to meat, Wegmans stands out for its farm-to-shelf transparency and consistent excellence. This family-run chain has forged direct partnerships with farmers and ranchers to ensure quality. Since 2011, Wegmans has even had an exclusive cattle ranch contract with Centerfit Farms in Virginia, yielding beef with no hormones or antibiotics and a reliable supply of grass-fed options. In fact, Wegmans works with regional farms near each store, so when you buy, say, a steak or pork chop, there's a good chance it came from a farm not too far away. The result? Shoppers can literally see where their meat comes from, and Wegmans achieves a level of quality control few can match. Customers gush about everything from tender, marinated steak bites cut to order by the on-site butchers to the phenomenally juicy organic chicken that consistently turns out moist and tender in any recipe. Wegmans also offers multiple tiers of meat for different budgets: conventional, antibiotic-free, organic, dry-aged. You name it, it's probably in their case. That includes specialty items and lesser-known cuts, bone marrow, anyone, that home chefs seek out. While the store can be a bit upscale, prices aren't outrageous. In fact, resourceful shoppers brag about snagging amazing deals at Wegmans, like a third of a pound Wagyu steak for $10 on sale. If there's any knock on Wegmans, it's that not all locations are equally staffed at the meat counter. A few folks on Reddit noted they sometimes had to flag someone down for help. But those minor quibbles aside, Wegmans is a carnivore's paradise. High-quality local sourcing, knowledgeable staff, and a huge variety make it one of the best places to buy meat. Period. 3. Sprouts Farmers Market. Whole Foods quality at bargain prices. If you're lucky enough to have a Sprouts nearby, you know why it's near the top of this list. Sprouts Farmers Market is basically Whole Foods' cool, less pricey cousin, and its meat selection is outstanding. Walk into Sprouts and you're greeted with a butcher counter that's a feast for the eyes. Beautifully arranged cuts of beef, pork, poultry, lamb, even exotic meats like bison or venison, all looking temptingly fresh. Sprouts prides itself on natural, additive-free meats. You'll find options that are organic, grass-fed, free-range, and always hormone, antibiotic-free. The best part? The prices. Fans famously say, it's Whole Foods quality at Food Lion prices. Indeed, Sprouts manages to keep costs reasonable, often undercutting larger chains on comparable organic or premium cuts. They accomplish this while sticking to ethical sourcing guidelines. For example, Sprouts was an early adopter of the Better Chicken commitment for humane poultry standards. Customers are fiercely loyal. One Reddit user explained that Sprouts offers all high-quality cuts offered at budget-friendly prices, making quick work of any weekly meat deals. Selection is expansive. Need a tomahawk ribeye for a grill party or lean ground bison for a healthy chili? Sprouts has it. They even carry game meats and specialty marinated cuts ready to cook, which is rare for a mid-sized chain. The in-store butchers at Sprouts are generally helpful and will grind or season something for you on request. Sprouts' only limitation is availability. They operate in about 23 states, so not everyone has access. But if you do, consider it a one-stop shop for top-tier meat without the luxury markup. The stores might not be as fancy as some competitors, but with meat this good, who cares? Sprouts proves you can have both ethics and affordability and absolutely dominate the meat aisle. 2. Costco, the king of quality to price ratio, bulk greatness. No best meat list would be complete without Costco, the warehouse club that foodies and families alike adore. Costco is legendary for its meat department, and for good reason. Here you can snag quantities of beef, pork, or chicken large enough to feed an army, but with quality that rivals high-end butchers. Costco famously stocks USDA Choice and even USDA Prime Beef, the top 2% grade, at prices much lower than specialty markets. From entire beef tenderloins to racks of lamb, Costco's huge buying power means you get the savings, and they don't compromise on standards. They employ skilled butchers and meat cutters, often promoting from within to maintain expertise. One insider noted Costco's meat departments are so busy, hundreds of thousands in sales a week, that only the best cutters can keep up. The result? Beautifully trimmed steaks and roasts, fresh grind on site, and consistency across stores. Members loudly sing Costco's praises. It is very hard to beat the price per pound, and the quality is noticeably better than the supermarkets around me, one avid shopper wrote, highlighting Costco's bang-for-buck advantage. Indeed, many folks maintain a Costco membership just for the meats, stocking up on brisket, pork butts, ribs, and chicken to freeze for later. Costco also caters to diverse needs, offering organic ground beef, wild-caught seafood, halal meats, and even occasional Wagyu or exotic selections at business center locations. On the ethics front, Costco has made strides, investing in a Nebraska ranch for more controlled sourcing of beef, for example, though they source globally to meet demand. The only real drawback is you have to buy a lot at once, but with a freezer at home, that's hardly a problem. When you're grilling up an 8-pack of prime steaks that didn't break the bank, you'll understand why Costco sits near the top of this ranking. For value hunters who refuse to skimp on taste, Costco is the ultimate meat mecca. 1. Whole Foods Market, gold standard quality and ethical sourcing, at a premium price. Love it or roll your eyes at it, Whole Foods Market is the undefeated champ of meat quality in grocery retail. In 2025, Whole Foods continues to justify its nickname Whole Paycheck by delivering exceptional meat that few others can match. Step into the meat section and you're in carnivore nirvana. Dry-aged beef, grass-finished steaks with gorgeous marbling, heritage breed pork, organic free-range chicken, even bison, venison, or local lamb. It's all there, and it's all top shelf. Whole Foods imposes incredibly strict standards on its suppliers. No antibiotics or added hormones ever in their meat supply. They partner with farms that adhere to a Global Animal Partnership, GAP, welfare rating system, which means animals are raised under progressively better welfare conditions, and it's labeled so you know exactly how your meat was raised. The consistency is unreal. Whole Foods ensures every cut in every store meets their bar for quality and sustainability. If something doesn't meet the standard, it doesn't hit the shelf. This has bred an almost fanatical customer base. One TikTok user proclaimed, "I only purchase my meat from Whole Foods, and once Whole Foods fails me, I'm done with eating meat." Period. That's how much trust the brand commands. Fans rave about incredible steaks. One Redditor said a grass-fed ribeye from WF was one of the best steaks I've had in my life. And the knowledge of the in-house butchers. Yes, Whole Foods has real butchers who will custom cut or grind on request and offer cooking tips, all while maintaining that pristine display case. The only downside, price, price, price. You'll pay more here, sometimes a lot more than at other stores, but for many it's worth it. Detractors might argue that some Whole Foods meat comes from large suppliers. If not labeled local, it could be from the likes of Tyson or Purdue, but even then it meets Whole Foods' higher baseline standards. At the end of the day, Whole Foods is the gold standard. It's where you shop when you want absolute confidence in your meat's quality and ethics, and you're willing to invest in it. From succulent grass-fed beef to house-made sausage and dry-aged tomahawks, Whole Foods remains the apex predator of meat markets, serving up the very best if you're willing to pay. Not all grocery stores are created equal, and these 10 prove that in ugly fashion. If the thought of sour chicken or sketchy ground beef turns your stomach, steer clear of the following offenders. Whether it's poor quality, sky-high prices for subpar cuts, downright unethical practices, or just terrible customer service, these supermarkets flunk out of the meat department. We pull no punches here. From national chains that should know better to regional stores with horrific reputations, here are the 10 worst grocery stores to buy meat this year. 10th, Meijer. Big selection, zero commitment to ethics. Midwesterners might head to Meijer for one-stop shopping, but you may want to think twice about the meat case. Sure, Meijer stores are huge and carry a wide array of basic cuts. If you need a family pack of steaks or 10 pounds of ground chuck, they've got it. They even tout that their beef is cut fresh and stocked daily, so you're not getting old product. So what's the problem? Meijer has fallen behind the times on ethical sourcing and quality commitments. This regional staple ranked relatively low in one industry review because it doesn't have many strong commitments to animal welfare or ethical sourcing. In an era when consumers care about how their food is produced, Meijer is basically doing the bare minimum. They haven't pledged to reduce antibiotics in meat or improve livestock conditions, beyond a token cage-free eggs promise. That's a red flag if you value responsibly raised meat. Customers have also noticed that while Meijer's meat is passable, it's nothing special. You won't find the unique offerings or higher-grade selections that competitors provide. It's the place for okay meat when you need bulk burgers for a cookout, but if quality and ethics matter, Meijer misses the mark. You're essentially buying commodity meat with Meijer's label on it. With other grocers upping their game, Meijer's lack of vision here earns it a spot among the worst. They've got quantity, sure, but quality and conscience? Not so much. 9. ShopRite. Decent meat. Undermined by a chaotic experience. Northeastern shoppers know ShopRite as a value-oriented supermarket co-op with lots of deals. But when it comes to the meat department, the experience can be a downright mess. The quality of ShopRite's meat isn't terrible itself. You can find USDA choice beef and some organic selections under their labels. The issue is getting to it. ShopRite stores are often crowded and understaffed, turning any meat purchase into a cage match. One account notes that because of the crowds, there may be some waiting involved to access your desired cut, whether it's waiting for a fellow customer to move or waiting in line for the butcher. In many locations, the butchers are so overwhelmed trying to serve a line of customers that you won't get any real help or attention. As an insider put it, when it's busy, their goal is to keep the line moving, meaning your detailed questions about sourcing or a special cut might get a short response at best. If you go during off-peak hours hoping for help, you might find the counter completely unattended. Not exactly confidence-inspiring. There are also complaints of general disorganization, having to dig through the prepackaged section to find a non-leaky, fresh-looking package, etc. On the bright side, ShopRite does have strict standards on paper for animal welfare with their suppliers, and their prices are low. But what good is slightly cheaper meat if the shopping experience leaves you frustrated and questioning freshness? Many shoppers simply give up and go elsewhere for meat after battling ShopRite a few times. Unless you enjoy playing tug-of-war for the last pack of short ribs and yelling over a counter for service, ShopRite's meat department will drive you up the wall. It's a pass for us. 8. Trader Joe's. Great meat if you can find it. Now some of you are thinking, wait, Trader Joe's on a worst list? But I love TJ's. Here's the deal. Trader Joe's sells quality meat, often at nice prices, but it barely sells any at all. This quirky grocer is a paradise for snacks and frozen foods, but for the meat-loving shopper, Trader Joe's is a letdown. The selection is minuscule. One review quipped you can stand in front of their meat case without turning your head because it's so small. They carry a handful of prepackaged cuts, maybe some chicken breasts, a few steaks or roasts, ground beef, and some sausages. There's no in-house butcher, no deli, and if you don't see what you need, tough luck. TJ's also wraps nearly everything in its own branding, and they are notoriously secretive about their suppliers. It's difficult to identify exactly where the meat comes from, since Trader Joe's uses third-party manufacturers and slaps on a Trader Joe's label. For consumers who care about transparency, that's a big minus. When it comes to meat, that would be something nice to know, as one source dryly noted. To be clear, the meat quality itself is generally very good, often organic or grass-fed, sourced from decent producers. But Trader Joe's makes our worst list because as a place to shop for meat, it's impractical and lacking. You can't count on finding a specific cut, and you sure can't ask the butcher to grind you something fresh or trim a roast. At best, TJ's is where you grab a pack of chicken or a steak while you're there for cookie butter. It's not a full-service meat destination. If you just need a little meat and you're already in the store, fine. But don't ever go out of your way to do your serious meat shopping at Trader Joe's. You'll walk out with Hawaiian chips and chocolate almonds, and maybe one pack of steaks, if that. 7. Giant food. Inconsistent stock and frequent disappointment. Operating under names like Giant Food or Giant Carlisle in the Mid-Atlantic, this chain has size in its name but often comes up small in the meat department. Giant does offer some high-quality products on paper. For instance, their Nature's Promise line includes organic grass-fed beef from reputable farms. Sounds good, right? The catch is you might not actually find it in stock. Shoppers report that Giant's meat selection is wildly hit or miss. One review recounts having to dig through a few options before getting a quality package of meat and often encountering slim pickings or even empty shelves in the meat case. How frustrating is it to plan a steak dinner, only to find the steak section half empty? This seems to be a chronic issue. Maybe Giant isn't restocking fast enough, or maybe they just don't prioritize the meat department. Either way, customers are discouraged by the unreliability, with some saying after too many trips with nothing good to show, customers may abandon ship for a chain that is more consistent. Ouch. Even when product is available, you might need to sort through to find one that looks fresh, indicating quality control isn't top-notch. It's not that Giant's meat is unsafe or poor per se, but the shopping experience is an annoying gamble. They could be out of stock on the only cut you needed, or only subpar pieces are left. In terms of customer service, don't expect much help. Reports suggest the butcher counter is often unattended or sparse. Giant might be fine for grabbing a quick pack of chicken, but it's far from a sure bet for a reliable, quality meat haul. Inconsistency is the name of the game here, earning Giant a spot among the worst. Meat shopping shouldn't feel like lottery scratching, and at Giant, unfortunately, it often does. 6. Lidl, high hopes dashed by rotting meat, quality control issues. Lidl entered the U.S. market promising a European-style discount grocery experience with high-quality standards. And to be fair, Lidl claims to have great meat. They advertise grass-fed beef, free-range organic poultry, and even imported cuts like succulent Australian lamb. On paper, it looks like a meat lover's bargain paradise. So what's the problem? Execution. Multiple shoppers have reported disturbing quality issues at Lidl that knock it straight into our worst list. We're talking about finding rotten meat on Lidl's shelves. Yes, you read that right. Some customers opened the freezer case to discover expired, smelly, discolored packages that should have been tossed out. Others have complained about damp, faulty seals on the packaging of meat, which is a recipe for spoilage. These aren't one-off flukes either. Enough incidents have been mentioned that it paints a pattern of subpar quality control. It's almost worse that Lidl pretends to be premium, with all its humane sourcing talk, but then fails at basic freshness checks. Nothing turns a customer off like slimy gray steaks that are past their prime sitting in the case. To give credit, many folks have had positive experiences and praise Lidl's meat bargains when things are fresh. The chain does have fans who insist it's one of the best, but the inconsistency is alarming. You might get a great deal on a grass-fed ribeye, or you might end up with something that belongs in a biohazard bag. That Russian roulette aspect lands Lidl firmly among the worst. Until Lidl can guarantee that high standards they tout actually make it to the shelf every time, budget-conscious carnivores are taking a risk. In short, approach Lidl's meat case with caution and a good nose. 5. Food Lion. Low prices, low quality expectations. Food Lion has a notorious history in the meat department. Who remembers the 1990s scandal? They've cleaned up since then, but here in 2025, old impressions linger for a reason. Food Lion is still not the place for high-quality meat. This Southeast Mid-Atlantic chain positions itself as a low-price leader, and indeed, you can find very cheap meat deals. The trouble is, you often get what you pay for. As one commenter bluntly put it, Food Lion is not exactly known for being a high-end retailer. I would not expect anything especially high quality from them, especially not at $8 per pound for ribeye. If what you are looking for is high-quality beef, I think you're in the wrong place. That pretty much sums it up. Food Lion's meat tends to be commodity grade, lots of select grade beef, below choice, maybe some ungraded cuts, and limited organic or grass-fed options. The marbling and tenderness just won't be there like at a premium grocer. They do have their own Butcher's brand and Nature's Promise labels that sound nice, but the actual eating experience often disappoints. Shoppers report off-tasting or oddly textured meat on occasion. Nothing overtly bad, but just not great. Food Lion also isn't big on transparency. You won't find sourcing info easily, and ethical considerations are not front and center. On the plus side, if you need cheap meat in a pinch, Food Lion will do. They've improved basic sanitation and handling since the bad old days. But flavor-wise, don't expect those bargain steaks to wow you. You might need a marinade and a prayer. In our book, Food Lion's consistency and mediocrity earns it a high spot among the worst. They've essentially embraced the philosophy that low price is good enough. For discerning meat shoppers, that's a deal breaker. Unless you absolutely cannot afford to shop elsewhere, you might want to lie and share your meat budget somewhere else. 4. Save-A-Lot. Bargain bin meats that often disappoint. When a store's whole model is rock-bottom prices, it's no surprise that meat quality might suffer. Save-A-Lot is a discount grocery chain where you bag your own groceries and hunt for deals among off-brand products. While you can score some pantry staples for less, the meat section is where Save-A-Lot shows its weaknesses. As one shopper observed after checking out a new Save-A-Lot, the only thing that seemed poor to me was the meat selection and quality. Ouch. The selection is limited. Expect maybe 1 or 2 grades of ground beef, often the fatty 70-30 kind, some cheap pork chops, possibly family packs of chicken legs, and not much else. The cuts are basic and visual quality is often subpar. You might see more gristle, more bone fragments, less appealing color. Save-A-Lot sources the absolute cheapest commodity meats, so don't anticipate any organic labels or prime beef here. Pricing can be weirdly higher on some low-grade items. That Reddit user noted 70-30 beef cost more at Save-A-Lot than regular stores for better quality. That means sometimes you're paying slightly less for significantly worse meat, which isn't a bargain at all. There's also the trust factor. Smaller Save-A-Lot stores might not have the best refrigeration monitoring or turnover, so that pack of chicken could be closer to expiration than you'd like. Simply put, Save-A-Lot's meat is edible but underwhelming. If you're on a very tight budget, it can fill your protein needs, but flavor and tenderness might be lacking. And any potential savings aren't worth it if half the product is fat or bone you can't use. In the hierarchy of meats, Save-A-Lot is scraping the bottom. It earns this worst spot because even among bargain chains, it doesn't deliver a great meat experience. You save a few cents, but you might lose your appetite. 3. Safeway Albertsons. Faux premium meat with a side of decay. Safeway and its umbrella company Albertsons, which includes Jewel, Osco, Vons, etc., is a bit of a meat department heartbreaker. They market their meat as top quality, often with attractive displays and higher prices to match. But behind the scenes, all is not well. A professional butcher's viral walkthrough of Safeway's meat case pulled back the curtain on just how sketchy things can get. His first impression? He immediately spotted a package of gray old maple sausage, not a good look. Digging deeper, he pointed out tricks like placing placeholder cuts in the case, not for sale, that had been sitting too long and stripping the skin off chicken breasts to hide how dried out they were. According to this butcher, the Safeway meat counter he visited was definitely not a top-notch meat department. And he's not alone. Plenty of shoppers have noticed funky things at Safeway. Meat turning gray well before its sell-by date, extra tender beef that's been blade tenderized to fake quality, or simply outrageous prices for mediocre cuts. Safeway does have some supposedly higher standard programs. They carry certified humane beef from a specific ranch with no hormones or antibiotics. But what good is that if the execution in-store lets product go bad or look gross? Albertsons owned stores often suffer from poor inventory rotation. The clearance section might have truly dodgy, discolored steaks that should have been tossed. We also see ethical corner cutting, like continuing to sell pork from suppliers using gestation crates until a future phase-out date, despite animal welfare concerns. For a chain that charges upscale prices, it's unforgivable. Customers have every right to feel duped when they pick up a pricey steak labeled as premium, only to find at home it's tough or off-tasting. Safeway's inconsistent quality control and profit-first approach to meat versus genuinely caring about quality land it squarely in our top 3 worst. They have the resources to do better, but until they overhaul freshness and honesty, shopper beware. That shiny steak in the Safeway cooler might be more trick than treat. 2. Target. Stick to selling TVs, not T-bones. You might not even think of Target as a place to buy fresh meat, and frankly, Target seems to think the same. In their rush to be everything stores, some Target locations, super Targets and the like, include grocery sections with meat. But make no mistake, Target's meat selection is abysmal. Even at a large super Target, one review noted the offerings are subpar. In a regular Target store, you'll be lucky to find a single refrigerator case of prepackaged meat, a few sad-looking steaks, maybe some chicken thighs and ground beef shrink-wrapped in foam trays. There is no in-store butcher at all. Everything arrives pre-cut and pre-sealed. Specialty cuts? Forget it. Organic or grass-fed choices. Rare sightings at best. Target basically sells the same mass-produced meat you'd get at Walmart, sourced from the likes of Tyson Foods. In fact, Target's meat often comes from the same suppliers as Walmart and Safeway. The difference is, Target has even less variety and volume. They don't prioritize the category, so stock can be limited or not the freshest. The company's own food quality commitments are generic. They'll talk a nice game about welfare policies, but in practice it's nothing beyond what huge suppliers are doing for everyone. As one analysis put it, if it is a regular Target, there are only a few pre-packaged cuts. We would avoid heading to Target to shop for meat. That's sound advice. Essentially, Target's focus is elsewhere, and it shows. The meat aisle feels like an afterthought. Many shoppers have had experiences of buying Target meat only to find it lacks flavor or tenderness compared to other stores, likely due to faster turnover issues or simply lower-grade product. Considering you can buy a flat-screen TV and a sofa at Target, maybe it's no shock they can't nail the perfect steak. So do yourself a favor. Get your cereal and shampoo at Target if you must, but leave the meat buying to stores that actually know food. Target lands near the very bottom of the meat chain for offering so little, so poorly to customers. 1. Walmart, the absolute worst. Low quality, lax standards, and customer nightmares. No surprise here, Walmart sits, rotting, atop the worst list for meat. The nation's largest grocer may dominate on price and convenience, but when it comes to meat, Walmart delivers a masterclass in how not to do it. Shoppers across the country have horror stories. We're talking slimy, spoiled products and shockingly unethical practices that make you wonder how Walmart sells so much meat at all. In one viral example, a customer opened a brand new package of Walmart hot dogs only to find them covered in a thick, sticky goo. Absolutely disgusting. And that's not an isolated incident. Walmart's strategy of pre-packaging everything in some central facility means nothing is cut fresh in store. As one Walmart meat department employee shared bluntly, "We don't cut the meat at all. The only time we come in contact with raw meat is when we are doing throwaways." In other words, don't expect anyone behind a Walmart counter to help. They literally cannot cut your steak thinner or grind you a special blend, even if they wanted to. This corporate hands-off approach results in meat that often sits too long. Customers frequently lament finding brownish, fresh beef or funky-smelling chicken at Walmart. Even worse, Walmart has been caught in a pricing scandal. One TikTok user found a pack of chicken labeled as 4.78 pounds that actually weighed only 2.2 pounds at checkout. "Walmart is getting us. They're screwing us," the shopper exclaimed. Overcharging by mislabeling weight is both unethical and illegal, yet here we are. Combine that with Walmart's generally low standards for sourcing, they use giant suppliers focused on volume, not animal welfare, and you have a perfect storm of poor quality and questionable ethics. Sure, Walmart will sell you a steak for a couple bucks less than a nicer store, but you might get a nasty surprise in taste or even safety. Many have learned the hard way that Walmart's meat can ruin a barbecue or dinner with off flavors or toughness. The company's response to criticism is usually shrugging it off or claiming improvements are coming, but we've yet to see a significant turnaround. At the end of the day, Walmart cares about cost, not quality, and it shows in every graying piece of beef and watery chicken breast on their shelves. They top this list because they have the scale and money to do better, yet consistently choose to give customers the bare minimum, or worse. Do yourself a favor. Don't buy your meat where you buy your socks and lawn chairs. When it comes to Walmart's meat aisle, the only safe bet is no bet at all. Choosing where to buy your meat in 2025 can make or break your meal and your conscience. The difference between a juicy, ethically raised steak and a regrettable mystery meat mashup often comes down to the store you trust. We've named the heroes and the villains of the grocery meat world, from the top-tier stores that take pride in quality and service to the bottom feeders that will sell you questionable products with a smile. It pays, sometimes literally, to do your homework and shop where standards are highest. So the next time you're deciding between the local premium grocer or a big box bargain, remember this ranking. Demand the best, call out the worst, and don't let any store off the hook for selling subpar meat. Your dinner table and your guests will thank you.